In the cold grey light of the 6th of June, in the year of 44, the Empire Lads sailed out from Poole to join with thousands more.
All right. All right. Would you mind just saying your name for the camera?
Yes, my name is Donald J. Arms, and I hate anybody calls me Don. My name is Don. There you go.
Nice. And when's your birthday?
June 6th, 1929. 6/29.
It was
1990.
Yeah, there you go. So, were you drafted or did you volunteer?
I volunteered, but we were in the war yet.
Mm.
But I turned 21. And when you're 21, you got a draft clause. You will serve or be served, deferred, or exempt, depending on the job.
Mm.
And you had to do it immediately. They knew war was coming. We didn't, but I think the president did. And so I was working for my dad at a feed store and a filling station he had.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no future in that. So I decided I had to serve and get it over with. So I volunteered for a year. That was the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, I went to the Army. They gave me a date and I appeared at the train station. Waved goodbye. 1 year. I come home 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
War came along 10 months after I was in the service.
Oh, so you were pretty close to getting out, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although we heard rumors they were going to extend it because the war was a little closer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Roosevelt was a good leader. He led the country pretty well. He was elected 4 times. That's never happened.
Mm-hmm. With that being said, how did you feel about the fact that you had to keep serving past the year that you were originally supposed to serve?
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Oh, that's okay. So you were supposed to serve for 1 year, but you ended up serving 5.
Well, they didn't say you're going to be in 5.
Mm-hmm.
He says the bond was down and you were going to serve. Duration.
Mm-hmm.
Duration of the war.
I see.
So that's what I did. He didn't have his choice.
Mm-hmm.
I was a machine gunner one of the 35th Division.
Mm-hmm.
I went into, oh God, I can't remember someplace. I don't remember now the town we were in there. I got a lot of bad gaps on my memory.
Hmm.
You can't live alone stuff because of something.
Well, your memory is a lot better than some people I know who are 30 years younger than you.
Oh,
You've got a very good memory for your age, in my opinion.
uh,
Um,
well, a lot of my younger life, I don't know. Not everybody lives in Montana. In fact, we live 30 miles from a little village called Wolf Point,
mhm.
and wooden floors on the sidewalks. And I worked on a ranch for my great grandfather. He'd driven up some horses, I understand, and established a ranch in a land grant. Don't pay attention to that, it rings all the time. Twice, that's the end. That's what you get with phone souls up here.
Yeah.
And my back has a boil back there, or bed sore,
Mhm.
so I squirm a little. It hurts. That's primarily why I'm here.
Mhm.
All my body is going with it. My normal weight was 175 pounds. Now I'm down to 135. And then 135 I was height. But I'm deviating what else in it. I went through basic training as a machine gunner. The whole thing big happened just before the war. You could tell we were poorly equipped by the reports we were getting from German sources. Their superior equipment and training. And we had Louisiana maneuvers, they called them. And several divisions, well, the whole army, Blue Army, Green Army, and you fought more wars, primarily World War I style, fixed bayonets. I was a machine gunner. I sat back and firing blank, having to clean my machine gun every day. We even had cavalry. We ambushed the boys, some coming down the road. That was fun. We opened up with everything. A horse, rider, they were all over the place. Oh, and I got out of that. I got snake bit in this. I knelt down my copper. We had a young lieutenant in charge of it, and he put me back over with the mock wounds. He had to go through the whole thing.
Mhm.
He didn't realize or get it through his head I was in trouble.
Mhm.
I was just running a fever and out of my head. I laid out in this field, and some guy come over. He was trying to get me in a conversation with his officer, and I showed him that leg. He finally got somebody over there. Next thing I knew, I was in the hospital. They were cutting this open, and all the boys all full of pots and yeah. Well, I got over that one after a fact. And instead of finishing and read the battles, I got to go back to the home base. So I had Cap Robinson practically to myself. Big empty place. Our girlfriend used to come down from Wichita, visit us.
Mhm.
So that was a nice old rehab. But war happened, what, December 7th, 1941. And we were a well-equipped division, 35th. They'd been in over a year and a half, and they picked up California's west coast was totally undefended. The Japs could have walked the shore. They didn't have an army base out there, so they shipped us up. I think it was 7 days. We were on railroad tracks heading to California with a weapon and ham sandwiches.
Ham sandwiches?
3 times a day. They would let us get off the train. We'd stop. People would get on, forget what it all. I don't know what our priorities were. But we had a guy that was picked from my squad that day, and he was at the door to make sure nobody got off. But we bribed him, me and another guy, and we made a mad dash for that little shack there. I knew they'd have candy bars. And we went in there and made a quick deal, bought a whole arm of candy bars and came back when the coast was clear. Got clear where it was, got back on again. And we got them for pretty cheap, buying them by the box. And I sold them for 15 cents a piece. They were a nickel on those days. And I got it cheaper than that. That's the only thing I can remember. That was a long trip. We had to pull over for everybody. Coal train were coming over. Went all the way to California. And they put us up. Well, we stopped in Los Angeles near there, Malibu. And they had a fire going. Every year burned up. And they pulled us over, gave us the day to fight fire. They should show whatever they had. And we were roaming the country. Fire was out. I remember they took a picture of us for a paper. Los Angeles paper. I want to get a part of that. There was stores sitting there kind of beat up and dirty. I guess we were figureheads of them. But I never saw the paper. And from then on, we went to LA. They put us in the Cow Palace. Cow Palace,
Yeah.
you know where that is.
Yeah.
And there was cow crap on the floor that deep. We were to be bedded there. So some of the second lieutenants would get us on a payphone or loudspeaker. And he said, this place is going to be clean, frickin' fine. He says shovels, everything you need the front door. Had a great big wide front door. Cold shower for the cows. That's what we were going to do. And he said, the word is now, go and get your shovel. So the whole 3rd Battalion goes up to get the shovel. And we start with all that manure. Well, in 15 minutes, you couldn't even see in there. If we had to quit. They started blowing whistles and horns, trying to get us out that door. We went outside and the dust was flying out the door. So they got organized and sent people in a few at a time. Well, we picked our soul, number 6, I think it was, and we shoveled manure and clean. Your mother could eat on it. You know, that's the Army stuff. And then they broke us up, and we were every day shipped out to guard positions all along California, the southern part. We went into resorts every place. We rode jeeps with a machine gun mounted. We couldn't have fought off anything. All we could have done is use it over for ammunition. And we rode up down the highway, way below the roof. But that was pretty easy duty. I had the dock I went to, I can't remember, down in San Francisco, down on the dock. That was my post, and it was raining. And I carried my rifle upside down and walked that post all the way down the pier and back by myself. Of course, the idea of the Jap landed, they sent the scouts. He killed the scouts, I suppose. But nothing happened. They sent us back inland later. We guarded railroad tracks and I was there when the Japs fired. It was 3 shots into the oil field. Didn't do any damage. It was gave them a morale booster, I guess. I don't even remember how long was that. So that was our history in the war, Garden California. Nobody's ready to go overseas. We had the hardly trained divisions. They were all words rookie. Some of us didn't even have proper uniforms. We had one guy who wore a World War I uniform and a rifle again. He insisted on keeping one. He didn't get away with it. We had to put our helmets together. I got mine screwed in wrong. It was always on one side. I know I got my right elbow practically paralyzed from that. We wore the old style thin helmets, looked like a soup killer. Later on they issued a modern helmet, which got shot off my head later. In fact, that helmet cost. We had driven these Krauss back. We were fighting in Normandy after D-Day. And we got to Hedgerow, and it was open field. We couldn't go into it. The Krauts were there. And I peeked over the side, and you didn't look very long. Germans had snipers. Boy, they were good. They shot the helmet off my head and hit her and spun, burnt the air a little on the right side, whirling around. It spun off, hit a guy we needed. He was a born killer. And funny, the bullet went through his jaw. I didn't get a good look, but he cleaned out all his teeth. He ended up losing us, man. He was a good man. He was a man that could take a guy out. Well, I won't listen. Everything that was done during the war had nothing to do with the war. I was in Rangers. It was a secret outfit. Nobody knew about it. We were specialized, hard trained, 50 or 500 of us, 700, 600 counting headquarters. We never saw headquarters. They dictated new training methods for us. We speed marched at 5.5 miles an hour. That's faster than you can trot. We had a division going there, a regular division. We go through them. It's like they say shit through China Wall. But we had pride. We knew we were the best. We were being trained to be the best. We had tough physical, gut-wrenching jobs. We were in the first ones to fight the Germans when they went over on a diversionary attack to the depth that I found out after the wars. The attack was diversionary in order to give divers a chance to dive and test the depth for floating in harbor, which would be below them. But after that point, my fighting was all fighting. But that brings it up today, doesn't it? Do you have any questions or whatever?
Well, were you still a machine gunner when you joined the Rangers?
Was I what?
Were you still a machine gunner when you joined the Rangers? Okay.
No, I got it out of that. I didn't like it. I wanted to get down there with a rifle. Why? The war was on one of them that's, our country was being attacked. Right now you blow the whistle and say we're at war. We had 1,000 people lined up on the sidewalks from World War II. Volunteers to get in. More thinking around the night and day, signing guys up. What was your question?
Oh, what was my question? Oh, I was just wondering what your job was when you became a ranger, because you had.
Oh.
Yeah.
I went into the machine gunner, and I didn't like it. I was good at it, got good ratings, and they put me in a squad I didn't like, and I never complained, but I got along good with the captain. He come from my part of the country. He made general later on, and I told him I hated that. He said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want to be a gunner down on the line, you know." And he said, "You know, you're getting corporal pay. That's the drop." I didn't hear anymore. All of a sudden they called us in, gave us morning report. We were over in England or France that time. And they read out the new assignments. They shifted people. I was shifted as a, what was it, sniper and, oh God, I had a dual role. Sniper and something else, which gave me a T5 rating, same amount of stripes, same amount of pay. I got shifted. And we went into combat. D-Day, everybody knows about that. The biggest spook I was on Omaha Beach, the one that got ours hit. The 2nd Ranger Battalion. We never contacted other battalions. We trained separately. I never knew anybody except by word of mouth in the other battalions. Africa, all up through there, and strange towns, Luxembourg and places I'd never been. But I lose track midway. My recall was bad. Like names. You give me a name, I guarantee I'd forget it before I got out the door. That part of old age. I had a light stroke 3 years ago, and I was an excellent cook. I like to play around with food. I made food mostly. I was better than my wife. And after that Civil War, that was another part. But, well, the war was just strange names, strange places. You never know when you're in Luxembourg or France, Saint Lorraine. I got wounded a couple times, 2 or 3, maybe more. Nothing. I pulled my right leg and boogered it up, but
do you remember your time in England before going to France?
time before going to the arena.
No, before you were sent to France, you were sent to England first, right?
I was sent where?
Were you sent straight to France from the United States, or did you go to England first?
We had 4 or 5 men come back. They went to all the divisions, broadcast a few days in advance. He was at the 82nd Airborne and outfit called the Rangers, where you get all the fighting you want. And they would be asking for volunteers, and they'd be there a certain day. And unfortunately, they didn't say stipulation. And the day they come, me and my partner, Buddy, went up to listen. They had a guy there talk to us. Told us you're being picked because you're the best. You will be. And he described the Rangers as commando unit, but far superior. We're going to do things they never dreamed of. Well, this is exciting. I should have known better. I must have had a kill. Well, that was a war, you know. War to end the war. And the day come, and the guy got on a speaker. He says, anybody here under the 19 or over 18 or 28, please leave. We want nothing but the youngest. And they took only those few guys. They didn't take them. Because he got through talking what was in store for us. Most of the guys that walked away. We got out of the whole division. There were 13 of us in my whole regiment that volunteered. And a Ranger battalion, there was only 6 of them total. We call ourselves first, second, third, fourth. I got books in there on us. But we were on a secret list, and we were the first men in every landing in Africa, all the way through France and up. We were always the lead unit, except that time. My outfit had a special mission. It was suicide, but they scrubbed it because we were to go behind enemy lines after the second wave had washed the shore of Germany. And it was nothing but hedgerow country. I can remember a perfect defense. Germans had underground cities. They had medical units, military units, ammunition stores. I mean, you could bomb them, you couldn't hurt them. They'd have 5 years to build an impregnable defense. Minefield, everybody. We attacked the minefield one day. I mean, that's like throwing a coin up. Are you going to get blown up? Lose a leg? Well, we had to do it. We took out a run. I don't think over 1 or 2 of them went up. I was one of them. I had was it a shoe mine? It was a device that explodes, pops up 5 feet, and then the grenade goes off.
Oh,
Does the most damage. It went up, fell back, nothing. I just kept running. That's all you can do. Get the hell out of there. I looked around real quick. There was nothing exploding. They put that minefield in 5 years before it got rusty. It's the only thing that's saved us. Whew! We lost some casualties. They were thick. That's part of the. They figured on an attack from the ocean. So the defense was this way. We came in later after got behind, and they assigned us to the front line. We rejoined the 69th Division. They couldn't get off the beach. D-Day was it was a farce. Do you want to hear about D-Day?
If you'd like to talk about it.
Pardon?
If you'd like to tell me about it, then yes, I would like to hear it.
Well, yes, that's all the itinerary. Don't know what you want to talk about. But Eisenhower told the biggest lies anybody ever told. He was a trusted general while I was there. And we landed, run across blown up landings, or the whole front, the beach were blown up. Shells have been coming in from the battle fleet and trying to hit pillboxes. Pillboxes, you could blow them up, I think. We had tanks, hundreds of tanks, into the water, drowned. After back by and forward, even while they took it off. Some of them had floating candles. They were trying to float them across. Experimental jobs. Not one tank landed, waiting behind us. I remember he was laying behind the hedgerow, and his tack was up his rifle, and they were alive inside, but they weren't getting out. They couldn't do anything with it, but they just kept throwing shells in, flying over our heads. Maybe they were killing cows, we don't know. We killed a lot of cows. But anyway, the big thing was the Air Force. The Air Force, finally we spot them, they're coming right on time, you know. Some of the guys are still serving. And they cut loose the bombs. You could see them falling. And I knew there was something wrong. They were falling, but they weren't falling on us. The guy delayed 3 seconds for safety. He's afraid he'd hit the incoming troop. There was a bomb hit that beach. That cost hundreds of lives. They killed every cow back behind the beach. And when I came home, I had a big dinner, I guess. But that was all covered up. Nothing was mentioned that, never. If you weren't there, you didn't see it. First wave was pinned down and wiped out. There wasn't anybody, bodies floating everywhere. Guys tipping overboard. I remember a landing craft. He must have hit a man with a flamethrower, because the flame just shot all over that land crowd. Guys dove over the side. They warned you not to. You drowned. He had 100 pounds of weapon on him. We had ammunition for 2 days. But the mess, a total mess. It was a total mess. The first wave wanted the second wave to come in. They couldn't. Too many wrecked boats all along. So the first wave got to a trench that was on fire and a brush deal all along that beach, and they hovered behind that. They couldn't stick their head out without getting a bullet in it. Nobody was making a move. But they pulled us off for a job. We were ready to go. 500 men fighting their way through an impossible country. We'd have been butchered. But we joined the 69th Attached Zone. We were specialized, so they told us the last thing holding us is a barbed wire. So we got on the barbed wire, but they asked General Lakota, got down there. He was 69th Division commander. I don't know how he got there. He wasn't over where the Rangers were. I remember our platoon was there. Our officer, I can't think of his name. He said, "We're here." He said, he called him over, gave him orders. We got to blow that wire. We got to make a pact with them. We're gonna die here. You're gonna die. You got in the death to die up there. So let's go up there. And that was the exact word according to this. And they got our Bangalore cruise to them. They got Silver Stars for that. Germans firing right down the throat in that area. They were hooking on Bangalore tubes with a, he shoved one man runs up there as a team, shoves it in the dirt, screws it on the Bangalore 6 feet long, all the way down. You got fast speed, and you blow the charge when you get all the wire strung out. Takes time, but takes men. We got them planned, got a few men hurt. Nobody got killed, I don't believe. But they blew the wire, and when it blew past about less than wide as this room. And we got all these thousands of guys down there. And boy, they went. Our Rangers went up and they followed us up. And we came there pouring out. We were shooting at anything. I killed a crowd there that I'd eat a big. He got in these holes, an idiot. I wasn't even seeing him. He practically at my feet. But anyway, we got enough people up there to dominate the beach. We passed the bunker people. We couldn't kill them, we couldn't get to them, or we could surround them. And we blew charges and got them out of there. They finally surrendered it. I don't know if they killed them or not. But that was D-Day. But the Eisenhower made a speech. The Americans landed at the Omaha base, and a perfect landing. It was now occupied and more moving. He didn't say a word about all the goose. You know, you found out in a hurry. Don't believe what the officers said. It made a lot of mothers back home happy had till they got the letter. I was oh, how many hundred killed on the beach. Before you could see on that beach body. You got a sand. He died. We were down on the flank, and we made a run for it. I zigzagged. I was a machine gunner. I know you go for a rip. I jumped out of a boat. I run straight sideways. When it got clear, I went straight ahead. Zigzag. I made it all the way up there. The rest of them were. And then the Rangers, the rest of the Rangers were with me. They came and they got the information first up. We have a slogan, we're first. We fronted every amphibious landing in Africa and the coastline all the way into Europe. The Rangers were in the first group. I counted the British. They fought separately. And other countries had their own army. Well, that's all we got is about D-Day. This is special when you want to know about.
What did you do after D-Day?
After what?
D-Day.
After D-Day, we dug in. We fought for 7 days. Your cavalry unit gets low. People put your cattle. They get wounded. You can only last so long. And when you get ineffective, they pull you out and do a reunion and you go back and rest. And they just sent us to Chateau Hammond, Flammable. It was a tip, and we driven the Germans out. They still had their weapons there, and the French were still living in there. They were French family, beautiful place. They had an acre. I know they were glad to see it. And we camped all the way around there. And the people in Flammable would come and lean over the walls and watch us sometimes. Mostly we were cleaning, training, wounded guys that had been hurt or beginning to come back from England. They set up an aid station in Press. They call them different names. They would look at the doctor would send him to England. It was bad. It wasn't, they do the operating there. It was a butcher shop, you know. Sold them up. I went one over. I had piles of all undignified wounds. Ooh. They gave us boiled turkey for Thanksgiving. I no sooner got out of the front door, I had the nerve with it. And when I reached back, my inside had been turned. Oh, I went over to Doc Patrick. He was our Pittsburgh dad. He was our company house Pittsburgh dad doctor. He went with us on breakthrough, raids, anything of the large casualty list. But he sent me on back to First Aid Station or whatever. I can't remember the name. They call them MASH units during another war. There were medical doctors, surgeons, nurses. Saw my first white woman in a long time. But the rest of it, just a lot of bloody memories, killings. I can't even remember who I killed. I remember 5 I killed in one day. I got in a bunker. There were 3 of them in a bunker. They knew we were coming down this road. Now our lieutenant wasn't too bright. We had 8 guys. He sent 2 up and he supposed to 2 here, 4 down there along the road. I was left over. They sent me down the left side. I was running down a path along these sunken roads. And I was so old, I knew what had happened. The crowds were dug in the side of the 5-foot bunker. Old bunkers, hedgerows, 5 foot thick and 5 foot deep, like a wall with heads on top. You imagine fighting something like that. You fought from field to field. Dirty fighting. Worse.
While you were overseas,
Huh?
did you write any letters home while you were overseas?
Oh boy. I did write home to my mother on rare occasions. We might be up on the line for 30 days. It varied, depending on availability and casualty loss. You go back home and guys sit down and start writing early. But you gotta get that mindset. I don't know if Ranger mindset or not. This is where you're going to die, and this is where your work is. The United States is something you used to live in. You're not going back. You get that crap out of your head. And with them goes the memories of some of them, your youth and all that. We weren't brainwashed, but we joined, we volunteered. Regular Army didn't volunteer. They had a few. It was a draft. They had men of all ages. We had a bunch of young people. 19 to 28, and I never saw a guy I thought was 28 years old. We were young. We had to be. And we were good. Boy, they put us through every kind of weapon. Once you know you're good, it gives you. We were taught aggression. Everything was attack, attack, attack. In the Commission of War, like they fought at first. Your men are ready. You're briefed on what you're going to do. You're back there behind the hedgerows. And they call the officers in. We go at such and such a time. And we go. Now it is take that down or whatever. We were called together. And they said, so platoon is taking that town. And we did it by crawling up. We could get up where we could hear a conversation. German. When you're that close, you're ready. And we keep quiet. But we were pounding and waiting and crawling. We wanted to get as close as we could. That's what counts. Numbers don't matter. And all of a sudden the shot rings out from the machine gun and you're up and charging. You're on them before they know what's going on. Germans are methodical people. You could figure out what they were going to do. But they weren't ready to meet that kind of war. All of a sudden people spring out of the ground and start killing you. We took prisoners 5 to 1 that we had to. I won't say we shot prisoners. I shot men that I thought might be prisoners. I can't even remember who I killed. I remember 5 guys. That was my best day. I remember a lot of guys get killed. That's all war is. You go back for leave. You can get a leave of absence. You stayed near a town in France. France was friendly. The part we'd taken. They were tickled to see it. After there was a pub there, that's the meeting place. We got drunk. Everybody got drunk. We smoked cigars. I think every ranger smoked cigars. We used German cigars. They were perfect. We ate German rice a lot of times. We didn't have them. They captured Norway, and I was seeing balls of some of my kids sailboat opened it up to see if there was food. There was pickled sardines from Norway. Delicious. Oh God, I was sick. I ate pickle. Food was, you didn't eat. We we went behind the lines once, our last battle, and it was a 48-hour mission. We would break through German lines, and it's being reinforced because of the likely spots. The Americans were back there ready, but they set us ahead because of the hot spots, defensive, and our division was, our battalion, were in this whole thrust. And they first attacked, and we made a block breakthrough through this town. It was on fire. I mean, you were riding through fire part of the time. And then we broke through the outskirts, and we crossed the river. I think it was the Saar River. And we captured the German road bridge. We had to get across that. We carried all everything we need on our body, close to 100 pounds. So you know how fast we were able to move. And we went across that great big hill on the other side. We climbed up that goddamn hill, all the weight, and got on top. But then the Germans were swinging their, I don't know what they call them, but they had defense and depth. Their reserve swung around to try to stop us. They didn't know where we were going, but they figured probably it must be going for reserve. And there it was. I lost a good friend to Wichita. He was my buddy. He was a replacement. But he was a good man. I was his hero. He always did what I did. And anyway, we got Zerf was nothing but hills and machine gun and what the German. And we went in there and cleaned them out pretty much, drove them back. We were to be relieved in 48 hours when the tank broke through. And they didn't come. We fought another 6 hours, and all of a sudden we hear our guns fired, and German tanks and others coming by retreating. We couldn't even shoot at them. We didn't have enough ammunition, but they dropped off. We flagged some of them down and got more ammunition. Because we were used up. We had 3 bars of a hard chocolate, part of the brick, you know, and that was our food. We were out, we were hungry, we were out of ammo. Nobody knew about it, so we couldn't radio, they couldn't drop it. Pretty soon they sent over light aircraft and dropped some stuff down to it. Then the Air Force was fouled up. The air was bad. They were to drop, and they didn't do it. I don't know if they can fly or not. When they did drop, they dropped it over in the German lines. Germans had loudspeakers. They could talk to us. They would talk to us every once in a while.
What'd they say?
Oh, nice things. Men, we were just like you. We're fighting for our country. We have no wish for you to come along. They use all the propaganda. They would send pictures of you and your girlfriend had sex, back in the United States. Don't worry about your family. Your best friends taking care of them and crap like that. They more like papers. They shot paper and artillery canister. We use them for toilet paper. They come in handy. But anyway, we stayed there, and our 48-hour mission lasted 9 days. After 2 days, we were out of ammo, beginning to get, but we had to break through, and they were dropping stuff off to us. But no support. Finally, they loaned us a half track, loaded with 4 machine guns, and 4 firepower, and we had it. And the Germans attacked us and attacked us. They knew why we were there. They were there to stop us. And they attacked through an open field. There were trees everywhere. Why in the hell they come down that open field? Man, they were open targets. And they finally came out with a flag. And then one day, I said, my God, they surrendered. And the guy waved at the flag, and he had make sail. We didn't fire as a rule medic. That was a rule. But he finally waved him forward. And we went up half a dozen of us to meet him. He won the surrender. And he said we have the whole German supply line. I said, well, we got 2 guys in front of us. But it came another thing. We weren't taught to surrender. They didn't. We had 2 guys in our company that were wounded in bypass in battle, and that can happen. And they were taken prisoner, but they were treated pretty good. And I think after our one German got back there, I think the mental image is stabilized. They took care of the good German. That was our last battle. When we got through, they came up on the line and said, pull back, we're being relieved. Some division was coming up, about 200 or 300 of them. We could see them moving. And so we got our, whatever we had, and headed back. And I had 6 men left in my company. And 500 men. That was a breaking down count. And they told me, we're going to pick you up with weapons carriers. Well, we'll have the trucks available. And there was only 65 of 500 that made it. And I remember making a count. They put me in charge. I lined them up in rows of 8, and we flopped down. Boy, you saw some tired guys. I mean, you stand still for a minute, you wouldn't know. Night and day. Night, my God, they had ammo. They were prepared for a big attack themselves. They kept us all night long. Last night we were there, somebody kept count. Something like 200 salvos came into our area. We're in German tank coal, or German old. All you do is cover your ears and how pussy it is. Then we walked back down that road where the walking wounded used to go. Our guys get wounded, they would walk back to the aid station way back there. One guy wounded in artillery, spurting blood, holding his thumb. Another guy putting a down breath on. Medic here and there trying to help. Am I talking too much?
No, not at all, sir.
But that was our last battle of any type. After that we did guerrilla warfare. We chased the Germans away from Eisenhower's, not Eisenhower.
Patton?
Patton's Army headquarters. We found a cat house back there for Americans. That's not known. I never saw one. That's the first one I ever saw.
Was it any good?
Walking down the road, the war was over, and I heard somebody ring out, "Hold her right where you're at," and I wasn't stopped walking. I knelt down. I said something to me, making a little sound saying, "Get in that point. Boy, I'm gonna kill you." I said, "I'm an American Ranger." I don't know if I had never heard another shot. I walked on down the road. I haven't even thought about it. He thought he was one-man guerrilla, I thought. Yeah. Then they stationed us in Austria as the local police force. Gave us horses to ride. I had picked up a girlfriend 12 miles away in this town. Rode down a little draft fork. And the second time I rode down, I had a better horse. But they were up on their house, had a ledge out there, a deck, and they were standing waving at me. I come riding by, and I stood up in my stirrups, and I was going to swing up, and a little porch came down. God almighty, people filming out. The mother hurt her arm. They were nice. They weren't enemies. Of course, I brought them food when I had a chance. We rode horses in their dance hell. That didn't go over big. anything to keep them agitated. Their farms back in Austria, they built a town with a house, people farm out and back, and then sometime in the past they take over the land behind them, and it's like a wagon wheel going out to north, east, south, and west. Somebody's farm lives there. That's a good experience. Got to know some local people. I could speak a little French. I remember one gal out of all I met, Ricoeur, and her town was less than Van France. And that was our staging point when we hit back towards the beach. 20. Hell, she'd be 80 some years old when she's still alive. That's what you look for when you gotta leave, or when you get away. Take your weapon, keep your eye out. Women are friendly. I saw one German woman dressed, or I assumed she was French, and we had driven them back. Had them cut off, and they knew it. They were after D-Day. And we attacked the South. And you ever get in a firefight in a house, I mean those guns make noise. I had the Thompson, thankfully. It was going to be up close work, 45 caliber. And upstairs we could hear them. I went up to the stairs, and there's Germans get fire everywhere, but I saw the statue or the figure firing down on our troops. I can't look. It was a woman, but I went over after it was over, looked down, had blonde hair. I was, what the goddamn hell? Everybody decided she's gonna die with her boyfriend. We accommodated her. I killed the uniform. I suppose I did. Maybe the other guys were shooting it. I don't know. I like to think so. But everything was broken up for a while. Houses became forts, barns, fences, holes in the ground, water, food. Our food is so bad. They bring us back and test us. They send a few cooks over there, cook for us. Maybe I don't know, a month or so. We'd eat that garbage, but they always serve spam in cans, great big army style. And Frank and I would, when they would unload that spam, throw it in the Jeep we had parked back there, this loaded. So we'd take it to a woman we contacted. She had 2 kids and a husband. And she was a good cook. She was our cook. We'd eat there, we wouldn't eat if we come. I don't think everybody ever knows. She could take a spam and make it tasty. we could. Anything I didn't cover or you want to?
So you have all of those photographs and medals and things out in the living room. Do you have any other souvenirs from your time in the service?
Yeah. I kept losing them. We moved and sold out.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, my youngest daughter, she's a teenager, she took my Purple Heart. She thought it was pretty. It depended on her dress. And she wore it to school. And one of the teachers recognized it. And it was red and she dressed her down about that, and she took it in, gave it to the principal, found out where it came from, and gave it back to me. That's one thing, medal I recognized. And I kept losing medals. I got a few of them. First they said, you won't get medals. He said you won't get a medal for something you do as a regular ranger. That's what they're picked to do. You're not getting paid for it. For a while we didn't get them. And then they come out with a point system. Well, that's different. If you get a medal, you get 5 points towards going home at the end of the war. We thought the war was looking better than I sort of laughed. We were getting B-2 bombs over our head. We were getting another one real cheap built, flew at about 500 feet, loaded with shrapnel and stuff. And we go to run out of gas, and it starts coming down. Anyway, far out. They'd aim it for a town. You hear it coming, you want to go. We shoot at it, try to bring it down. Couldn't do anything on a rifle. But you could listen, you hear it exploding. You just hope it opens.
Of hell. As the years pass by, I can still recall the men I saw that day, who died upon that blood-soaked sand, where now sweet children play. And those of you who were on board, who've lived in liberty, remember those who made it so on the shores of Normandy.